give them something to eat. And the disciples answered, we have nothing but 5 loaves and 2 fish. Have you ever felt like you only had 5 loaves and 2 fish? I know I have, and I bet you have too. In those 5 loaves and 2 fish times in our life, in my life, I feel overwhelmed, powerless, hopeless. I feel there's more being asked of me than I can give or handle. It's not that I don't think I have enough. I begin to believe I am not enough. Not enough to make a difference, not enough to handle what's before me. Does any of this sound familiar to you? You know what I'm talking about, right? Yes. What are we supposed to do during these 5 loaves and 2 fish times of our life? Well, let's begin with what not to do. I don't think we should sit around waiting for Jesus to magically give us more bread and fish. That's probably not going to happen. Because maybe the problem isn't the lack of bread and fish. Perhaps it's our way of seeing, a lack of vision. Maybe it's that we need compassion and connectedness with others in our lives or our community. Jesus sees and trusts that the disciples and we already are and have enough to feed the crowd. Maybe that's what we need to see and trust about ourselves and each other. The solution to our feelings of inadequacy, of being not enough, perhaps is connection. Looking at others through the lens of love and compassion, mutuality, a connectedness that creates community. As human beings, we all have to rely on community in some way or another, no matter what our personal, social, or economic circumstances. No one can do it all. Feed, clothe, heal, comfort, house, employ, educate. We cannot do all that for ourselves and our family. We need the actions and the input of others. All 4 Gospels contain some version of this miracle of the loaves and fishes. Jesus feeds the multitude with a small amount of food. However, without the willingness of the few who shared the little they had, there's no miracle. In reality, the miracle was the generosity lying dormant within the crowds. The resources were there waiting to be called forth. Remember, all these stories are metaphors. It's hard to believe that 5,000 people could hear Jesus. That would have been a miracle. Think of 2 weeks ago, our Mass on the Grass. We have Terry here with a booming voice that never needs a microphone. And even it was hard for 100 people to hear you. 5,000. And the barbecue is a small example of this story. I know there weren't 5,000, but the logistics of the day would have been overwhelming for 1 or 2 people to handle. Bringing Mass outside, set up, activities, food, clean up, breakdown. So many details had to be attended to for the day to turn out well. But the dozens of people who did their little bit not only made the day go smoothly without overburdening one person, but the spirit of compassion and community was contagious, and everyone pitched in and helped us all experience an overflowing sense of community and enabled everyone to enjoy the day. Jesus' example in this story of mutual cooperation and aid was so inspirational to Dorothy Day, the founder of the Catholic Worker, that she called her book about the movement Loaves and Fishes. And in it she wrote, "Young people say, what good can one person do? What is the sense of our small effort? They cannot see that we must lay one brick at a time, take one step at a time. We can be responsible only for the one action of the present moment, but we can beg for an increase of love in our hearts. And that will vitalize and transform all our individual actions, and know that God will take them and multiply them, as Jesus multiplied the loaves and fishes." That was Dorothy Day. I think we all can pray for an increase of love in our hearts that will awaken, transform, and multiply the impact of our actions. I wonder what it is that sometimes keeps you and me from seeing and living like that. When we see the hunger or the pain or the needs of another with eyes of love and compassion, it shifts our priorities. We imagine new possibilities, and that's contagious. And so resources are multiplied. Compassion calls us to reach out to one another. It means saying yes, even before we've counted our loaves and fish. That's how I want to live, don't you? Every day we encounter the 5,000 in ourselves, in our friends, families, relationships, in our work, in our faith, in our prayers, our church, in our challenges and hopes and dreams. What if we start living from the abundant grace, that flow that we have been so generously given? We just might be surprised what we're capable of. Let's stop doing the math and start setting the table. Because each little bit we do ends up being more than enough.